Briatores' comments about Button were petulant, childish and unnecessary. Credit Getty Images in an exclusive extract from his new book, Jenson. Button delivers his verdict on some of the biggest names he worked with during his time in Formula One. Ralf Schumacher had been a Formula One driver at Williams for all of 10 seconds, stammering, holding back tears and thinking, "I've got to tell mum and dad," when suddenly Ralf bustled into the room, took up position opposite Frank Williams and pulled his best diva face. "I'm not coming in tomorrow if the car isn't waiting for me," he pouted. I was thinking, bloody hell, you can't speak to Frank like that. But Frank's equilibrium was undisturbed as Ralf continued, giving it the full Mariah Carey. I mean it, Frank. If the car's not waiting outside the hotel for me, or if it's late, I'm not coming in. I'm not going to test." Despite the public goodwill expressed at their Williams team launch in 2000, Ralf Schumacher was cold towards Jenson Button. Credit Reuters, "Well, make sure it's there for you tomorrow," said Frank, unruffled, and Ralf was about to flounce out, toys successfully jettisoned, when Frank added, "More importantly, Ralf, I've chosen Jenson as the second driver." Ralf looked at Frank and then at me. "Yeah, I know," he said imperiously. Whether Ralf really did know, or was just being a cocky bee, who can say? Either way, it was a strange way to start a relationship with a teammate. Ralf always came across as a bit insecure to me, as though he feared he was being usurped. He never quite treated me as an equal, which might have been my age or the language barrier. David Coulthard, at the start of my career, DC took me under his wing. We'd spend time together, go on holiday together with our girlfriends and so on. On one particular boat trip from Monaco to Sicily and then Sardinia, I remember me and him sitting on the boat drinking Bloody Marys all the way down to Sicily. Undeterred, we went out on land and kept drinking, no doubt attracting attention, because when we arrived back there must have been 15 paparazzi hanging around on the quay waiting. Jenson Button has saved David Coulthard's dignity on at least one occasion. Credit Reuters, "We made our way onto the boat and continued the party, things getting a bit messy, until DC announced, 'Right, I'm going to give them a show.' These photographers took all his clothes off and dived towards the curtains, planning to fling them back and give the paps a proper show in me birthday suit. Only my rugby tackle saved his blushes. The fact that he was about to do it, so DC. The fact that he remembered and thanked me afterwards and then told the world how I'd saved him from making 80 of himself, that's him all over. The only person who didn't want me at bar when I joined the team in 2003 was Jacques Villeneuve. At our first press conference, he was asked what he thought of his new teammate. Well, he said, he's inexperienced, he looks like he should be in a boy band. This kind of open hostility floored me. After that, Jacques didn't speak to me. He wouldn't even look at me. If we passed each other in the paddock, he'd find something interesting to look at in the opposite direction. Jacques Villeneuve thought Jenson Button looked like a member of a boy band. Credit Reuters, at the season opener in Australia, he was supposed to pit on lap 30 and me on 31. However, Jacques had saved a bit of fuel through the first stint of the race and didn't pit, even though they were calling him in. Instead, he deliberately came in on lap 31, knowing I wouldn't be able to go any longer than 31 and that I'd have no choice but to pit behind him. Why did he do it? Partly mind games, partly because he wanted to beat me. But it was a dick move, and for a driver of his quality, a fairly incomprehensible one. He might have felt that he didn't want what's his name from Westlife coming in to beat him, but as a former world champion he would have known the importance of keeping the team on side, and with that one act of petulance he turned them against him. He was a tough driver, but he was always fair with me. He never took the pee when it came to racing. He'd push me to the limit, but never over it. A controversial character, for sure, just ask Jacques Villeneuve and Damon Hill, but it was always fun fighting with him. Especially when you put him in the rear-view mirror. Jenson Button always found Michael Schumacher tough but fair. Credit AP, when I first joined Benetton in 2001, Flavio was good fun and great company. However, it soon became apparent that he expected me to win races, which in that car was an impossibility. And when I didn't win, he started being no fun and company. He was particularly forthright with the media, especially when you'd had a poor race, which was pretty much every race that season. Just before Monaco, he told the press he thought I was a lazy playboy. The dictionary I'm looking at defines playboy as a wealthy man who spends his time enjoying himself, especially one who behaves irresponsibly or is sexually promiscuous. Okay, so wealthy, yes. Guilty. I had, somewhat foolishly in retrospect, listened to my manager who told me that my continued prosperity in Formula One was assured and that I should rent an apartment in Monaco, which I did. I also bought a yacht that I called Missy. And I had, also somewhat foolishly, parked that yacht in Monaco Harbor. A bit flash, I grant you. But I wasn't lazy and I didn't spend my time enjoying myself, certainly not at Benetton, because it was a miserable year by anyone's standards. And as for being sexually promiscuous, well, that's just not true either. Flavio just wanted to be rude. Tough love, maybe. But I read his comments and thought they were petulant, childish and unnecessary. And worse than that, they really got to me. Edited extracts from Life to the Limit by Jenson, which is published by Blink. £20. To order your copy for £16.99 plus PP, call 0844-871-1514 or visit books.telegraph.co.uk.